Benelli and I are taking a little ride up to the garden and take a look, see if we got anything coming up. Had a lot of deer around this evening. I'm really kind of struggling this evening. I had a tooth pull today. Benelli, get in. Benelli, get in here. I had a tooth pull today, and I've been struggling. And I did not get any pain prescriptions because I just don't want to take those pain medicines. I just don't do it. And it's just been a little tough. But I'm feeling good. We got about 30 or 40 minutes here before dark. Let's go see what we can see. All right? We found a bunch of deer up there. Look at that little bunch. That's a pretty. I don't know what all they are. It's pretty hard to recognize the bunch of the does right now, but that's an awful nice little bunch of deer right there. And they're kind of hanging around for. Let us take a little bit of look at them. But mighty, mighty pretty. Let's see what else we can find. Well, it looks like we have elk and deer everywhere. I can see lots of deer out here in front of us in the road, 4 or 5 of them going there. I see more deer over that way. I can see 4 or 5. I see elk way out in there. Stay, Benelli. So that everything is turning green. Now you notice all those trees that look dead. Those are pecan trees. This is one of our pecan groves. And those are the last trees to get limbs. Get leaves. You look up in them, they're not even budding yet. And everything else, a lot of the trees are beautiful green. Look at back in the background there, all those green trees. That big, beautiful food plot over there, that's a giant food plot. It's got elk and deer both feeding on it. And but the pecan trees, they just look like they're totally dead. Look at that. Isn't that something? But they will come out. The leaves will go out. They're the last trees to get leaves. There may be some others, I don't know, but I think they're the very last ones. The elk off down there. And once they get full, they are absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous trees during the summertime. Spring is sprung. As we look off into that field, we see a couple of elk out there. A couple of big elk, a nice feeder. Deer stand out there. There's another elk. We'll zoom in a little bit on them. Well, there's an elk running 100 miles an hour. It's a big, beautiful food plot out there. I don't know really and truly what that elk is running from. They don't get hunted here. But there's another elk. Maybe she just want to run down here and be with that other elk. As far as I know, I don't know. And it looks like another one back over there in the corner. They're just scattered out about everywhere this evening. It's a beautiful evening. It's cool. Got down to 36 or 37 degrees last night. That elk there is just a wild one. The other's not paying a whole lot of attention to me. He's going to start that one running. Well, there's 3 down here in this corner. Well, there was 2 plus that one. So we've seen several elks. They're scattered out. There's so much green, so much fresh stuff coming up. We've got NutriPlot on it. Look at them running there. Stay in here, Benelli. Looky there. Aren't those beautiful? They can cover a lot of ground in a hurry, even though they're giant animals. They're going to just stop and take a look at me and see what's going on. What are you doing? Benelli, get in here. Kennel. Benelli wants to jump out every time I stop. Can't blame her. She thinks we're hunting. We're just enjoying a nice ride in the evening and seeing all the animals on Twin Eagle Ranch. And those are beauties right there, no doubt about that. I love them. I just absolutely love it. Big, beautiful elk. Benelli, get back in. Oh, you're on. I'm sorry. Benelli. You're in, aren't you? You just moved from one side to the other. But big, beautiful food plot right there. Raising a lot of food for the animals. We're going to go check the garden. We'll be raising a lot of food there in the garden. Don't know how much we'll get interrupted by animals before we get there, but we'll get up there and try to look at them. Yeah, they're not just running wild, but they're a little spooky. They are wild elk. They're not tame elk by any stretch of the imagination. They're not super wild because we really don't hunt them. Looking into that sun, can't tell if there's animals out there or not, honestly. But the animals are really all out and moving this evening. Deer and elk just about everywhere we go. Go up and check out around the garden. The new garden and see if anything's coming up. We've got seed planted. It's got pretty cold. It actually got down around freezing. Of course, that ground was not freezing, so really shouldn't have hurt those seeds in the ground. But we had a little bit of rain. This last rain, where it rained a lot in Oklahoma City and all over the state, it rained 2/10 of an inch here, is all. 2/10 of an inch. But that was a little bit of moisture on the ground and a little bit of moisture in our garden. Of course, now we water the garden, so we don't really depend on rain for the garden. We're going to be growing a lot of squash, cucumbers, watermelons, cantaloupes, tomatoes, okra, peppers. Apache loves peppers. I'm not too much into peppers, but Apache loves peppers, so we plant peppers as well. And probably 80% of all of that garden, we plant a pretty big garden, but about 80% of that garden is used to feed the deer. It really is used to feed the deer. Another beautiful food plot. You can see that food plot right there. No animals on it. There's a lot of animals on that. We call that the ugly field, but it's not ugly right now. Actually, that field's beautiful. Beautiful green. Absolutely looks spectacular. Everything is just looking so great. It's just amazing. Look down through all of those trees. They're getting just in another week, it'll be full out, and these trees will be providing a lot of shade. Look how full that tree's getting right there. Pecan tree right beside it, no leaves. That big tree up there all by itself with no leaves. A pecan tree, obviously. Pretty much when you see the trees right now that have no leaves on them, they're all pecan trees. And you see that big tree right there that looks like a pecan tree, but it's not. Just a big giant oak, beautiful oak. That one back there the same, but then you look at that big tree there that's dead, and then look at these 2 or 3 right up here. They're not dead, they're alive. They just look dead. Those are pecan trees. You can see the buds where we got the pecans off of them. Those are just the hulls up there left of the trees where the pecans have been shook off. But everything looking pretty nice. I love it. I want you to take a look at that. I want you to take a look at that. I'm going to reach over here and shut the meal off where I can zoom in a little bit. That is the big Pecan Grove right there. And I want you to take a look down through there. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm seeing out there. I don't know how many head of elk are out there, but that's a lot of them. I'm seeing some deer on the left past the elk. See the deer down there? There's 4 or 5 deer, and I see, well, let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That looks like it. Looks like 23 elk out there and some deer. And you can see that several of them are laying down. You see some pretty young elk out there too. I see 2 or 3 elk out there that are really pretty. Look at that little small one right in the middle. Now that is an elk. That's not a deer. That's an elk the size of a deer right in the middle. With that one standing up, the 3 laying down. They're on the left side of the screen. So we're looking now, the 3 laying down. See the little one right in front of it? I said it's an elk, maybe a deer, but it looks like it's an elk, I believe. It's just a real young. She must have just had that thing. She must have just had that. The rut starts for them in September, so I bet she just had that baby. Some of those other cows are going to be having babies. That's a young elk. It sure is. Definitely not a deer. Those are deer up there on the left. Everybody's looking at me out here talking. That's a really, really special. And look out across that Pecan Grove. All of those trees behind are pecan trees. All of those that you see in that big grove right there, that's a pecan tree that's up a little closer. Again, you see they have no leaves on them. They have no hint of green, a little green, or you see a lot of green on the ground, of course, the grass. You see no green in the trees. There might be a little mistletoe right there, but they will be. And that's really a big pecan grove. I don't know how many trees are in that grove, a couple, 200 or 300 probably. Absolutely beautiful. We had over 11 tons of pecans this year that we sold to the processor, plus all of the pecans that y'all ordered through the internet, which was a considerable amount. Pecan prices were down this year. For us, that we sold to the processor, is down really quite a bit. We kept pecan prices the same as they've been for the last several years. I think we kept them exactly the same. But that is quite a sight right there. I love this time of the year. I think about many of the friends that I've lost since last spring. A lot of them. I got a note today from my buddy Jack Haynes, who won the Bassmaster Classic. One of the times that I won the BASS Angler of the Year title, I think it was 1976. That might have been 86. That Jack Haynes won the Bassmaster Classic. I think I finished 3rd or 4th. One of the guys that we fished with a lot back in those days was a guide on Toledo Bend, Phil Green. Jack Haynes sent me a note that Phil Green had died. My great friend Jerry Ryan, which I might do a little video and talk about Jerry. I've got a great story about Jerry, and he was a great friend. I got his obituary within the last week or so. It's just amazing. When you have a lot of friends like I have, you're going to lose a lot, especially as you get older. But a lot of those great friends of mine did not get to see this spring, so I'm looking at it for them, but I got an idea that the majority of them, if not all of them, are looking at things much more glorious than what we're looking at right here. And can I tell you, that's pretty glorious what we're looking at right there. That is absolutely fantastic. But some of them, most of them, if not all of my buddies, are in heaven right now looking down and saying, if you could only see what we see, Jimmy. If you could, oh, look at all those deer back there. I didn't see those earlier. Those are a bunch of deer back there around that little pond. At the little hump right in the middle there is a pond dam. There's a little pond down there, got a lot of water in it, and there's a bunch of deer back there as well. There's probably more deer out in that Pecan Grove that we just can't really see. I see them running around back there. It's a pretty good little bunch of deer. Yeah, they're right by the county road. We have to watch, but we got cameras everywhere. And occasionally we catch a poacher, but it is a big, big find when they get caught doing that, and we catch them, we sure do.